wish the speaker of the day a very happy Teachers Day. You know, today is a Teachers Day, and we have Sachin with us. Sachin is live from Australia. He's a very dynamic person. A huge round of applause for Sachin. So since everybody is on mute, I'll just do it on your part. Welcome, Sachin, to this
Thank you.
webinar.
Thank you, Shifal.
Sachin is an international speaker, a coach, and is currently associated with Wuji International, which is his own venture. Mission of Wuji is to facilitate the state of fulfillment for anyone who is ready. Sachin is also a founding president of International Subcontinent Entrepreneurs. He is a certified DISC professional and NLP, certified deep state repatterning practitioner. A lot to learn from him. A session is too less for that. He is on a mission to create invisible leaders. Does that mean leaders don't appear? As we all know, good organizations have good leaders at the top. Let's understand from Sachin about need and importance of inculcating the sense of ownership and responsibility among employees, which happens to be our topic for the day. So a heartily and warm welcome, Sachin, and over to you now. The people are desperately waiting to listen to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shifali, for this wonderful introduction. Are you able to hear me properly? Am I audible properly?
You're perfectly fine and you're audible.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you again for this nice introduction. I'll just put up the presentation while I'm talking, and let's get on with it. You able to see the presentation?
Yes, we are able to see your presentation.
Okay, great. Wonderful. So I go by this belief that what I do, it's not about me. It's more about what I do and what I want to bring. So for that reason, I often don't really talk about what I have achieved or what I have not achieved and what I have become and not become and all that. I really don't want the focal point on myself or my achievements. I really want the focal point on the topic, on what we want to come for today. And always people can get in touch with me and want to know more about me and what I have done and things like that. They can always visit my LinkedIn profile and also get in touch with me. I would be more than happy to have a chat. So today, because we have less time, let's start with what we are here for. And the topic is inculcating the sense of ownership and responsibility among employees. Invisible leadership for HR and business leaders. So interestingly that you brought up the point, invisible leadership does not mean that the leader is absent. What it means is the leader is very much there. In fact, all the time there, but not interfering. So less and less interference in the process and more presence. And as we go through this presentation today, I believe that this will get more clear. Also, before I start, I want to share the definition of leadership that we go by at Wuji International, because everything I'm going to talk about today is about leadership. So it's important that I share what I mean by leadership. To me, a leader is someone who is so passionate about something, about a cause or about anything, whatever they believe in. They're so passionate about it that they don't wait for anybody else to do something about it. They are passionate, they will get up and do it. They are not there to create followers. Their objective is that I am passionate about this purpose, about this reason, about this cause, and it is my passion and I will live it. So I will do whatever I can do and they get started. And I believe when we talk about HR success, I believe that is exactly what Govind has done as well. So in 2013, he perhaps got charged by this idea that he wants to create this community, and he started that. Now 7 years down the track, there are 50 plus volunteers that are now joined with him. So you shared all the verticals and everything. but it's not that he's not interfering in the process. He's there, he's always there. Even when in my personal experience of this whole thing was, when we were doing this, he was always there, but he wasn't interfering that how is this going, how is that going. And that is what invisible leadership concept is the leader is there but not interfering. So let's move on. Now, in my experience, corporate experience, 20 plus years, I have come across several managers and leaders, and often one of the complaints that we have heard is that my people, my team members don't take ownership and responsibility. So we want to talk about inculcating ownership and responsibility. Obviously, there is a lack of ownership and responsibility that is being observed. So it is important first to understand what this problem is. So let's just spend a few minutes to first really grasp the core of this whole thing, and lack of ownership and responsibility. So if there is lack of ownership and responsibility within the team, within the organization, then what else would you see? What other problems would you see? Perhaps you observe this and you also observe the other problems, but you have never linked these two things. So today I want to just bring your focus to some of them. So I'm not going to be listing exhaustively here, but some problems that I feel that are important to point out. And something like office politics, you will see more and more of office politics happening. High attrition rate, low retention, always a revolving door, people coming, going, and hard to retain them and not sure what is going on. Gender inequality will be observed. Low diversity and inclusion, very low tolerance level towards other people's belief, their values, their choices, and things like that. You perhaps will observe bullying and harassment in the environment, in the team as well. And overall, what you will observe is low employee engagement. People are disengaged, they are more withdrawn, they're not feeling like it. They're coming to work because they have to. They're probably struggling, okay, or perhaps in many cases also looking for a job on the side, looking for an exit door. So as soon as they get it, they're out. So lack of ownership is not just only affecting the productivity, so to speak. It's not only affecting that people are not doing things on time, or you have to chase up, you have to tell them what to do, or it is affecting innovation and things like that. There are several other problems that that will be observed as part of lack of ownership and responsibility. And why exactly an employee is feeling this way? Why are they feeling this kind of lack of ownership and responsibility? Or when they are feeling this, perhaps the question should be like this: when they are feeling this, what will you observe? They are a bit angry, frustrated, they are feeling stuck, they are feeling withdrawn, they're feeling misunderstood, unappreciated, undervalued, unrecognized, controlled, micromanaged, unchallenged, bored. Overall, what they are feeling is a lack of permission. So I would like to just pause here for just a very quick few seconds for this message to sink in, that when we talk about lack of ownership and responsibility, it is very easy and quick to pass the buck on the other person and say that I'm expecting more ownership and responsibility from you. Okay. Or I'm observing a lot of office politics, or I'm observing my team is not engaged. So it's always the focus is on the other person, that they are not doing it, so I need to do something. before we fix any problem, it is very important that we diagnose it properly. Unless we diagnose it properly, we can't give the right kind of medicine. So there is a lack of permission that people feel that perhaps they are not allowed to make mistakes. And if people are not allowed to make mistakes, if people are controlled, if people are micromanaged, then you can forget about innovation happening in the company. You can forget about someone coming up with new ideas because they are going to be shot down anyway. In this, in this kind of environment, in this kind of environment, people feel unchallenged. They feel that they are not able to utilize their skills, their experience as much as they want to or they can. And that sets in boredom, withdrawal. They feel stuck. They feel like I can do so much, but then I'm not appreciated, I'm not valued. Whenever I say something, there are organizations that I know where when employees come up with a suggestion, their leaders will actually take that suggestion and put it across in a way as if the suggestion was theirs. So they will not even acknowledge the person who actually came up with that idea. In the public forum, yeah, I mean public forum in the sense in the meetings, general meetings that they hold in within the organization. And I personally known these people, and they feel tremendously undervalued, tremendously unappreciated, that it was my idea, and it's okay that my leader is putting it up there. They haven't asked me to put it up there, they are doing it, but at least they could have said, credited, and taken my name, that I came up with it. So um, this is happening, and this creates withdrawal in the employees, and all the other problems that we see. Now, when leaders and managers, they see such problems happening, as I said, the focus is always external in nature, that I see my people are not engaged. I see that there is a lot of bullying happening in my organization. There is a lot of politics is happening in my organization. So what are some of the standard ways that normally leaders and managers address this kind of problem? And we are all familiar with these things. I'm only listing these things because I want to bring your attention and bring your focus to something once I have listed these things. So there's nothing new I'm talking about right now over here. I'm only just summarizing what is already happening. So they perhaps would do some coaching work. Either they will do it themselves, they will coach the person or the team themselves, or they might hire an external coach to help people. They might become mentor for their team, or they can get an external advice from outside. Rewards, they will try to cheer people up, motivate people up, by some kind of rewards. Recognition, okay, some places there is lack of recognition, somewhere people will say, okay, let me use rewards and recognitions as a way to motivate people, to charge them up. Motivation is another one, another way. The let me motivate, if you see someone feeling very down, withdrawal, stuck, frustrated, all that you observe, and then you think that there is a lack of motivation, so let me do something, let me help this person, let me motivate them in some way or the other. And then a standard way is to perhaps organize some kind of soft skills trainings for them. So our first conclusion is, maybe if people are struggling with these kind of things, there's a lack of skill. Perhaps they don't know how to address this kind of problem. So time for them to go on a soft skills training or even behavioral trainings. So these are some of the standard ways by which we try to address this problem. And the way I see it is that, imagine your organization is like a tree, and this tree has got all these bad fruits, you see, bad apples on it. So let's call one of the bad apples as office politics and bullying and low retention and things like that. So you see all these bad fruits, and because you see them, you know, okay, I need to do something about it. And then you bring some kind of pesticide or whatever, and then you spray on it, and you try to treat that fruit. Now this, what we have listed here, is that pesticide. So by doing coaching, mentoring, soft skills training, I'm not saying that they're not good. They work. It's not that I'm not against them. So please understand that I'm not against any of these methods. I'm trying to highlight that perhaps this is not the medicine for this particular problem. It is a medicine for some other problems. Definitely these things work. We ourselves provide some of these services, so I know that they work. But perhaps in this case, I'm pointing that here treating the fruit is not the solution. This doing coaching work with one person or sending people on trainings and things like that is as if I am fixing one apple at a time. The problem is not in the fruit, the problem is in the roots. So roots are faulty, and until the roots stay faulty, the fruits are going to be faulty. You can treat few fruits, and then when the next fruit comes again, some problem will come. This is the reason why you observe that when people even go on trainings and things like that, after few days it just withers off. It doesn't stick. They just go back in their same old ways. And why is that? Why is it that they go back in their same old ways? Is because the roots are still faulty. So today I want to bring focus on the roots, and all this time what I have talked about is what is currently happening. So let's talk about what should happen. Then what is exactly that we can do, and how we can treat the roots instead of treating the fruits. So there is this concept of Ubuntu that originated from South Africa, in which the practice is that if someone makes a mistake in the village, then that person is called, and that person stands in the middle of the circle, and the entire village stands around them, and they talk about all the good things this person has done. They shower the person with so much positivity that the person just forgets about what they have done. They understand that we are human beings and we all make mistakes. So when someone has made mistake, they are apologetic themselves at that time. They realize they are feeling guilty. So instead of bashing them more, what they do is they shower them with and remind them of all their strengths, all the positive things, all the good things they have done in past. And this process actually goes on for hours and sometimes days. It's not 5 minutes or 10 minutes things. They actually gather there sometimes for days and keep showering the person with so many positivity, so much positivity, until this person gets up on their by themselves. And that is what we call a culture of empowerment. So if we want to fix the roots of the tree, then the medicine is not the pesticide for the fruits. The medicine is to create a culture of empowerment and make the roots healthy, nourish the roots. So make it so uh, strong that the bad fruits, they start to heal by themselves. Let's explore how this can be done. And since today's topic is inculcating the sense of ownership and responsibility, Wuji International, my company, our belief is that any change can be brought by first working on the self awareness of the person. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is what we work on. And how we enhance someone's emotional intelligence is by how we enhance someone's emotional intelligence is via mindfulness. So we use mindfulness practices to enhance emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence, as you probably know, is a concept coined by Daniel Goleman. It has 5 components. One of the components, so I'll just quickly say the 5 components are self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, empathy, and social skills. These are the 5 components. We treat them as 5 core competencies. Now, one of them is self-awareness. Self-awareness is when we create when we create an environment, when we create the culture of the company in such a way that the awareness, the self-awareness of the person enhances. So they get inspired by themselves, and that is when the roots start to heal and the fruits start to heal. So let's see how this can be done. So before I talk, so this is actually a how as well as a what. It's a combination of both. So what is it that that we can do as a manager or as a leader? So I strongly believe that as a manager and as a leader, your job is not to fix people. Your job is to fix the environment in which they operate. So don't assume that people are not playing. And if someone is not playing, then that means they don't know how to play. See that the playground that you have created, has it got rocks? Has it got thorns? Is it playable? Is it dirty? Is it muddy? So focus on creating a good playground for people, and then let them play. So this is what we meant by not interfering. So my job is to make sure that I create an environment, I create the playground which is favorable for my team to play in, and then I will just back off and I will let my team play. So I will not interfere. Yes, there is good chance that sometimes some of my team members would not know how to play, and that is the point where I would then consider coaching, mentoring, training. All those things will come into picture, definitely. But I cannot assume to start with that if someone is not playing, then that means they don't know how to play. And I have to teach them how to play. I have to motivate them. They are demotivated. So I have to motivate them how to play. I have to coach them. I have to mentor them. I have to send them on trainings. No. Why it doesn't work? Because you do all that and you still see the person is not playing, because the problem that person sees that they haven't fixed the playground. You keep asking me to play, but look at the playground. Look at how much office politics is happening. Look how much harassment is there. Look how much bullying is happening. Look how low employee engagement is. So it's what play you are talking about. I can play, but there is nobody to play with. There is no playground to play with. And this is where the leaders and managers must first focus on the playground. And this playground is the culture, is the culture of the team, the culture of the department, the culture of the company, whatever you want to call it. So focus on this playground, focus on this culture, and what exactly we can do, how we can create this this culture. Now this concept that I'm going to share, it is based on a model called 6 core needs, which is quite influenced by, you can say, Maslow's hierarchy or values hierarchy. Several models can be mapped on this. It represents, it talks about very similar things that you may already know, but maybe using different words. And that is okay, doesn't matter. The point is not what we know, the point is how we use what we know. So today, this is what I want to highlight, that what is this playground, what is this culture of empowerment we are talking about, what does it look like, how it should be. So level 1, we start with level 1. Two things are very important. consistency and variety. What it means is that in life, in day-to-day life, whether it's my personal life or professional life or whatever, on one hand, I want some sort of consistency, and on the other hand, I also want variety. So I want a balance of these two. If we map this on in our professional life, in a team context, then what it means is that on one hand, I would love to feel that I have security at work. My job is secured. I get that sense of security when I come. Uh, if the environment is always giving me this vibe that our company is not doing well, I don't know, our team is always questioned, our department is always questioned, that why do you even exist, why do you have these many people and things like that. If I am always scared about the security of my job, uh, then really forget about getting best performance out of me. Okay, this is very common sense. So I want you today to, for a minute, forget about everything that is happening in your company and forget about any person here, and only see this as an individual, and use your common sense that are you really connecting with this message. Because if you connect with this message, understand that everybody connects with this message. These six core needs are six core human needs, regardless of the country you live in, regardless of your age, regardless of your gender, regardless of your financial background, educational background, anything. You strip all those things out, these six core needs still apply. Doesn't matter what language you speak, what color of your skin is, none of these things matter. So if you connect, if this feels correct to you, I guarantee this feels correct to everybody else you know as well. So that is why it is important that today you only feel it for yourself and see that, does it feel correct to you? Does it sound right to you? And if it does, then see what you can do about it. So consistency and variety. When I am coming to work, I want to feel secure. I want to feel that my job is there. I am needed. I am required. I'm important, and my job is there. If every day I am feeling that I don't know whether tomorrow I will have the job or not, things like that, then 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 I can't focus on my work. Perhaps half of the time I'm spending on looking for another job and things like that. So that's there. At the same time, too much consistency, too much sameness, too much routine creates boredom. So while we do appreciate that some things should be consistent and structured and all that, um, I I can't um, I can't have it all the time either. So it is important that I have some sort of variety, that I have some sort of change. If I'm coming to work and having to do same thing again and again and again, after some time, the boredom will set in. Now, it doesn't matter. My company might be very stable. Okay. I might have the best job I could have ever asked for. Understand this. This is the psychology we are talking about over here. I might be getting the best salary, and I know that my company is best in its league. But every day I'm coming and doing the same thing for last 5 years, for last 10 years, and I'm getting bored, and I actually want to leave, and I'm confused because even I don't know why I want to leave. I'm in such a good company, and I'm getting such a good salary and all that. Yet there is a sense of unfulfillment. There is a sense of discontentment, which I can't really put my finger on because I don't know this model. This model runs me. I don't run this model. Today I'm sharing these terminologies, these labels with you. So it is about creating your self-awareness around it. Nothing will change. This model will still be like this only. You cannot hack this model. All you can do is you can understand this model and then work with it, work with the flow, how this model works. Right now, because we don't know this model, most of the people are run by this model and they don't know how, what they are feeling and what they are going through. So creating an environment, creating a work culture in such a way that your employees feel safe, secured, and at the same time, they also get a bit of variety in what they do, that will keep them engaged. That will keep them wanting to come to work and look forward to, because as human beings, we like challenges. When we start out a new work, it is challenging to us. But as we do that work again and again in a repeated fashion every day, we follow certain processes, certain standards, it becomes easy, it becomes second nature. It's like driving a car. When I was learning it, it was very exciting, but no, once I learn it, it's very what you call it, automatic. So once it becomes automatic, it starts becoming boring. And a leader must understand this psychology and must create an environment in such a way that people feel safe. At the same time, they have changes and they have challenges and variety in what they do also, that will keep them engaged and open. So moving to the next one, significance and connection. So
Sachin,
once I have,
before we move ahead with your next slide, uh,
yes,
I have couple of, the event, the flow is going really great. I have
okay,
couple of compliments which people have already mentioned at the chat box. Uh, do you allow me a moment to,
yes, please, please, please. Yeah,
okay.
I think it's good time to take a break as well. Yeah, I'll have a sip of water.
So first of all, my honest about this is that I'm just enjoying this session and I'm getting empowered. And maybe in couple of days or months, I don't know, I'll also become an invisible leader.
Okay, that's wonderful to know. It's
And
very good.
yes, so we are receiving great compliments. People have started following you at LinkedIn. People are, interested in having your PPT. People are interested in having a video recording of this session. Then Govind Singh Negi
Oh,
says, I totally agree. It is the responsibility of leadership of the organization to build a great culture. Leaders are inspiration for team members. Leadership has to be top down. It's the speaker's own way. He may not like to share session. Oh, I'm so sorry. That is one thing. Okay. Now here's one question also for you. How
yes,
can an employee contribute to a culture of ownership and responsibility?
super. Nice question. If you remember, I'm talking to the audience right now. If you remember that when Shifali was introducing me, she mentioned something that one of the beliefs on which we have built this entire framework, and I will be sharing a bit more on this invisible leadership as we move forward. The belief is that good companies have good leaders at the top, whereas great companies have great leaders at every level. So when we talk about how an employee can do this, it's about creating that sense of leadership in each and every person in the company. And by the sense of leadership, I mean leadership quality. I don't mean that. I don't mean in the sense of job titles as such. So sometimes we interchangeably use leadership as titles as well, but here I'm talking about quality. Title of the person will stay the same. It's by which attitude that person arrives at work. So even if it's a security guard in your company, with what attitude that security guard arrives in your company, and how they see their work. see with full ownership and responsibility that I own this domain. This is mine. And when I say this is mine, not from like hogging point of view, I'm sure you understand. So, uh, so the intention of the word mine is from a responsibility point of view. That mine, it's my responsibility, not holding or hogging it, mine kind of thing. So, so that is the thing. Now, why why we are talking about leadership is because as I shared with you, the definition of leadership is someone who's so passionate that they don't wait for others; they start themselves. So, a leader is a person who is responsible, who takes ownership and responsibility um, intrinsically. You can say nobody tells them it's my passion, it's what I want to do. So nobody has told me, let's say, like, nobody told Govind to start this. He started this. So he he takes complete ownership and responsibility of this initiative. Nobody has given him the ownership and responsibility. It comes. And that is the thing. It goes hand in hand. As you develop someone's leadership qualities, ownership and responsibility automatically develops. In other words, it's already there. You just need to clear the way. So assume that everyone is already a good leader. Don't think that you have to develop it. So there is nothing to develop here. It's cleaning. It's like, assume it like it's a rainy day. Hmm? When it's a rainy day, is the sun not there? The sun is still there. Okay. But we don't see it. When it's a rainy day, we don't call it it's a sunny day. We call it it's a rainy day. Why we don't say it's a sunny day? Because we don't see the sun. But just because we don't see the sun, does it mean that the sun is not there? It is. So if we just remove the clouds, then the sun is there. That is exactly what this whole process is. Assume that people already know how to take ownership and responsibility. We are not developing anything. We are only clearing their path. We are only trying to clean up the playground. And this is what I'm sharing here, is how we can clean up the playground. First do that. That is what I would say. I'm not saying this will 100% fix the problem. Some people really don't know how to take ownership and responsibility, and that comes from how they have been born and brought up, because in families, especially in Indian families, sometimes parents don't want, they want the kids, okay, just study and do this and that, and then and everything gets done by maids or by parents and all that. So they don't really learn how to take ownership and responsibility. That exists, I acknowledge that. But we can't really take that and paint the entire world and everybody else using that example to say just because 2 out of 10 people do like that, we see the other 8 like that as well. So that would be wrong. So we focus on the 8 and we say majority of people are capable of taking ownership and responsibility. Let's see why they are not doing it. And when I say why, I'm still not passing the buck on them. I'm still taking, as a leader, I'm still taking the responsibility myself to say, okay, let me first clean the playground. Let me first clean up the culture of my team, culture of my company. And then I'll see what happens. If still some people are not able to play, then I will do something specifically for them. So hopefully that answers the question.
That was beautifully answered, Sachin. So here I have another question, and that's a good question. I would love to know the answer. What are your suggestions to the
It's
leaders
a
of the
very long
organization?
answer.
What are your suggestions to the leaders of the organization which is suffering from office politics and wish to get rid of it?
Okay, exactly the topic that we are currently talking. So please continue to listen to what I'm. So perhaps I think this question was typed before I started talking about what I'm talking right now. So what I am, the slide I'm on and what I'm talking is the answer. So please continue to listen to this.
Sure. So let's continue with this session because time is less and a lot to learn from you.
Okay, great, great. Okay, so I covered level one. Level one is where the leader first ensures that consistency is there and variety is there. Okay, I am not letting my workforce, my team get bored. I know this will happen. See, this will happen. This is psychology, plain and simple psychology. Okay, we all spend 25, 26 years learning something. Okay, whether we are doing engineering or MBA or whatever, we spend 25, 26 years learning something. Once we get the job, after 10, 15 years, the steam does run out. Okay, confirm this with anybody, any of your friends who are 40, 40 plus. Okay, so you cannot just keep doing the same thing just because you've learned that trade. You cannot just keep doing it. You want variety. This is a human need. Understand this, implement it in the environment, and that will really give you um, great results. It's important for employee engagement. Keep people engaged, reduce the retention. So that's that part. That's the tactical part. Now let's come to the next level: significance and connection. Now, there are two extremes. What it means is that, again, as a pure human being, I would like to be the leader of the pack as well as the member of the pack. Okay. I have the need to lead and I have the need to be connected. So usually we hear that a leader is a loner kind of a position. Okay. Once you are at the top, you are alone. So ambitions drive me to be at the top, but feelings also tell me that if I reach the top, I'll be alone, and I don't want to be alone. So there is a constant tussle that keeps going on, that should I or should I not? Should I go for that position? But I've heard so much from others as well that you're lonely and this and that. You don't have many people around. So there is this need that is there in work context. Sometimes companies, and I've heard leaders use this kind of terminology very proudly, and they say there is no I in the team. Very wrong. Very wrong message. When you say there is no I in the team, you are not understanding the basic fundamental human need of significance. I am putting, I'm burning midnight oil. I am putting my blood and sweat into something because I also want recognition for it. And when I have done all that, and at the end of the day, my leader or my manager averages everything out by saying there is no I in the team and make the achievement only as a team achievement, it is a big blow to those who are out going out of their way to do it. You have to understand whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Personal preference could be that I don't want to have the limelight on me. That's fine. You could have that as a personal preference. You cannot make it a human preference. You have to understand that it's your personal preference that you don't want to be pointed out. That doesn't mean that other people also don't want to be pointed out. So please do not put or project your preferences on your team. Understand that significance is very, very important. In cricket, there is there is a man of the match, and the team also wins. So the person who's the biggest contributor is highlighted, is appreciated, is praised. So it is very important, and you have to find a balance in this. You have to find a balance in this. We have another client, so I won't take the name, and I will just, like, very generally I will talk, because I don't also want to say what kind of company and all that. So it's a MNC that I would tell you. They have a subsidiary in India, but they are mostly driven from their abroad office. So that is the office that would set the culture of all the other offices in the world. So they are in, I think, more than 10 countries that they are operating from. But that head office, a European based head office, they are they are the ones who actually set the culture, all the other countries. Now in that country, this culture is there. There is no I in the team, and the manager, the leader, the top person in the India operations goes out of their way to actually hide in the sense that um, not make it person specific. So not pointing that this person is leading, or this person is doing a better job and all that. They want to make sure that it's always recognized as a team effort. And we were doing a retreat once with their team, 26 people. So he's the top person, and then he has 26 various different heads that report to him. So we have 27 people in the room, and it was a 2.5 day retreat we were doing. And when I brought up this topic, he was the only one who didn't agree with me that this is the one. However, the moment he didn't agree with me, all the 26 people actually said that this is important. And there was a discussion for almost 2 hours on this topic within their team. And this was the first time he actually found out that how much the rest of his leadership team actually want this thing done. He actually never consulted. He was just implementing what he was told from the head office, that this is how our culture is, and just implemented. And he was just implementing it without even verifying it with his own leadership team, that would it work in Indian environment or not. And like amazingly, only he was standing alone on this point, that there is no I in the team. All other 26 people wanted that we should have a man of the match as well. We should recognize people, we should appreciate people, and do this thing. And that was the first time he realized that Indian culture is different. It is important here. People want that kind of appreciation and recognition. So it's okay in their European counterpart. The culture is like that, and people are happy that way, so they are happy that way, but not here. um, and that is very important. It it is a way by which the team gels. Now it is up to us how we treat this. There is a definitely there is a chance that it could create jealousy and this and that. We can go on that tangent as well. But understand that this is a core need, and as a leader, it is now your job to implement it. Understand that all those risks are there, and how you can mitigate all those risks. Don't stop because you have identified the risks. Start because you have identified the risks. That is my message. um, don't stop with problem, start with the problem. At the same time, connection is important. I also want to feel connected with the group, with what where I am working. So if my leader can create this environment where my significance and connection need is taken care of, then every day I turn to work, I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry that whether my job is there or not. It's such a boring job that I'm doing. I never get recognized, I never get rewarded for this, and my team members are not gelling, and there is no, we don't feel connected. We just come and just sit in our own cubicles, and we hardly talk, and this and that. So if the work environment has been taken care of, if all these four needs are taken care of, if the playground is clean, then the play happens. So the next is growth and contribution. Now growth and contribution is what you are expecting from your team, is what you are expecting them to do. Understand, they also want it. It is a core human need. It's a core human need that I want to grow and I want to contribute. I want to do this. But it will only happen if level 1 and level 2 are taken care of. This applies in your professional life, this applies in your personal life also. In your personal life, if level 1 and level 2 are not stable, you cannot build level 3 on it. So please understand that It is a core human need that everybody wants growth and contribution. You might disagree with me because you may have seen people, the people that you probably think that I don't know them, you know them, you are close to them, you see them every day. um, Perhaps from their behavior, from their attitude, it looks like that they are not interested in growth and contribution, but as a core human need, it is a need. So something else is there. So understand, the previous slide I was talking about, that people are feeling withdrawn, people are feeling frustrated and stuck. That is what you are seeing. You are seeing a withdrawn person, a stuck person, a frustrated person, and you are concluding that this person doesn't want to grow and doesn't want to contribute. That would be a wrong conclusion. So work on clearing the clouds, work on clearing the playground, and people will play because they want to. This is our core need. So as a leader, I would say, fix the first four needs. Create the culture of empowerment. Create the playground in such a way that those four needs are taken care of. Take them off the hands of your team, so they don't have to come to work every day and worry about whether my job, if I'm worried about my job would be there or not, then obviously I'm going to get involved in office politics. Obviously I'm going to start making somebody else look bad, so I won't get fired, that person could get fired, and I can save my job. Okay? If I am not feeling, if I'm not getting recognized and appreciated, obviously I'm going to start bad mouthing another person, or perhaps this will create that sense of gender inequality, or perhaps that, oh, maybe I am different, and they only doing it for certain group or certain kind of people. So again, that diversity and inclusion plays the picture. So not taking care of these needs can start creating all those problems in people's head, and they will start linking these things. And I'm not feeling connected, that's because my manager is always favoring a certain kind of people only, or certain region of people, or certain gender of people, and things like that. So I'm always excluded, I'm not from there, or this is, I am different, my food habits are different, my beliefs are different, and things like that. So understand that taking care of these four needs, taking them off the hands of your employees, if they don't have to worry about it, 4 out of 6 things are taken care of. And now they have only two things left: growth and contribution, their own personal growth, professional growth, and contribution to the company. Your job as a leader would be super smooth if you just do that and let people worry about growth and contribution. So obviously, next question comes is, how do we create this culture of empowerment? We have talked so much about the culture of empowerment and all that. I've shared this strategy with you, that what you can do. Now, perhaps the next question is what's the starting point? How can we do this? It all sounds very good. Now, where do I start? If you have to start from Monday, what do you have to start doing? So I'll give you some very basic action items, principles, things that you can very much start doing straight away. As I mentioned, that standard way that people have approached any problem is coaching, mentoring, guiding, trainings, and all that. They all are important. They have their way. Okay? When someone is not able to play, you have created a good playground, you have taken care of everything, still they are not playing, that means there is something else, some other problem, lack of skills or lack of wills or whatever. Then you use those things. But here, those things will not work. So what will work here? First and foremost thing, understand, increase their self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy. Work on the emotional intelligence side of things. Now, emotional intelligence is not something that you can inculcate by talking. You inculcate that with immersion. So yes, talking is there. So when I said by talking, I meant that it's not that you just refer them to an article or just talk about it and that's it. No, it will not happen. It's not like that. It's not an academic subject. Obviously, it starts with talking, it starts with discussions. You have to do that. You have to introduce the topic, introduce the concept. So you do that. But the key is immersion. You have to then create assignments, create practices, you create sharing circles. So when the assignments are done, talking and discussions will help people to improve their understanding about the topic. But understanding doesn't mean they realize it. Understanding is like I'm chewing food. I've got food in my mouth. Is that going to give me energy? Is that going to give me nutrition? No. It's just food in my mouth. It's like that. I'm reading. I'm doing Google search and reading books and talking to people. This, that. It's food in the mouth. There is. It's not gone in. It's not ingested. It's not digested. Unless that happens, I'm not going to get any energy. I'm not going to get any nutrients. Information is the same way. Just getting information from every angle and all that is not going to make me a wise person. I have to ingest it. I have to sit with it. I have to make it my own. Um, the book is written and a book is read by millions of people, but are all those million people they are deriving the same message? They're not. Some people derive no message. Some people derive perhaps even more than what the writer actually would have thought of. So it all depends on how I ingest it. And that ingestion, that digestion process starts when I immediately bring whatever I have learned into practice with assignments, with some kind of practice groups, and something have some hand holding happening, some guidance happening. Again, guidance not in the sense of mentoring and coaching and all that. Guidance in the sense that are we going in the right direction? Are we like accountability check and those kind of things. Sharing circles. Sharing circles are important because when I have practiced something, it is important that I reflect back on it. And until I reflect back on it, I don't learn from it because I have to learn my own lesson. I don't learn the lesson that Google said or what I learned, what I read in the book. I have to do it and then create a lesson which is my lesson. And then I share that lesson in the circle, not for others, but that lesson is again a reminder of me that that what it means to me. Then I have to take all this and do self-work, self-development. Once again, everything is, the environment is in such a way that it is inspiring people to keep working on self, keep working on their self-development. Only when I am capable of that, then I become capable of contributing to the team. I have to first go in my shell, work on myself, open up the shell, and now start contributing to the team. So the work environment should allow that kind of, that people can go back in their shell. It is like there's a example that we always use sometimes give is like a turtle. When the turtle feels some kind of problem, then they retract in their shell, so they protect themselves. This is the same thing. So you have to retract. um, we often use the word retreat. We take people on invisible leadership retreats and all that. Retreat is what? Retreat is you are taking step back. Retreat is not a picnic. It is from the war of life. You are taking step back. You are retreating for a couple of days so you can self reflect what is going on and then go back in the war. That is what a retreat is there for. Only when you have done that is when you become you become capable of contributing to the team, and you become capable of growing with the team, and this will then start creating ripples, not only just within the company but also within their own family, and in the wider circle. You will see perhaps your customers will start getting benefited, your vendors, your suppliers, your other associates. It will start creating ripples, that is for sure. It will not stop. It will not stop. That is guaranteed. Once a person has changed, once the person has that self realization, self awareness, ripples will not stop. That is 100% guaranteed. So I've talked a lot about culture of empowerment. We have given the name invisible leadership. You have been hearing this and in the title also. What is invisible leadership and all that? All this what I have talked so far is all compressed in this framework called invisible leadership. This is, I'm calling it a framework. It's not a system. It's not a process. It's a framework. We create process and system out of this framework. Why? Because we want to collaborate, merge with the company, with the client that we are working on, see what current culture they have and what we are bringing, and see the meeting point. So I can't just say, okay, just throw everything away, now we will implement this system. It's not like that. It cannot be like that. Okay, we are talking about humans. So it is a framework, it is a guide. There are many components that we have created in this framework. There are retreats happening. There are primer bites, short information sessions, retreats that are 2.5 to 3, 5 days retreats that we take the leadership on. Express. We believe that sometimes people learn in the classroom and sometimes they learn in playground. Not everybody learns the same way. Some people understand PPT, some people understand something else. So express is a way by which we can use dance, drama, art, music, all these other kind of modalities to drive the same message. Message is same, ownership and responsibility. But delivery mechanism changes because some people connect with this way, some people connect with that way. Unconference is another concept, opposite of conference. So once again, because of lack of time, I cannot go in the details of each and every of these things. But if you are interested more, I'll be more than happy to explain these things in detail. Unconferences, huddles is same what we're talking about, the sharing circles. Um, in first 3 or 4, it's people learning from us, and we are giving them assignments and exercises and hand holding them in the practices. But then they come to us and they tell us what have they done. So sharing circle is when we stop talking, they start talking. So that is their turn to tell us what they have realized. Rest. Sometimes some people need special attention, special coaching is required. So that is again special hand holding is needed by a group or people. Then that is also there. Assessments is very important until we know that we are on the right track, where we wanted to go, and uh, and are we there, what's the progress tracking looks like. So time to time assessments is very important. Employee engagement. Um, this is all about us doing things as self, but then we need to start making the circle of influence wider. It is about other teams, other departments outside of my work, my family. So how I can take all this what I have learned and then start creating that ripple. And the ultimate is CSR initiatives. Most of the companies in India are required to spend a certain amount of money in CSR initiatives, and we always tell them that um, you can utilize same budget. Just let people practice what they have learned here in the CSR initiatives itself. So it's not even that you have to spend something extra. Just repurpose it. Think differently. Involve people in those activities so they can learn. They can apply everything they have learned as part of invisible leadership and utilize your CSR funds that you are going to spend anyway. So let's repurpose it. Let's redesign it and kill two birds with one stone. So we've done that as well. Our partnership is with Karve Institute of Social Services. This is the second, comes at number 2 in India. First one is Tata, this, and this is KISS. This comes at number 2 in terms of their work that they have done in CSR area. So they are our valued partner in this activity. Now, all this is very good when I'm talking. So you perhaps have got some ideas and all that. We also like to share that if you want to get a taster of this, what does this self-awareness, how you actually improve self-awareness in your workforce, if you want to get a taste of it, then this is one of the most valued and appreciated and really like a star program that we do. It's 1 hour program called Winning Support Using Chakra Psychology, and this is all about how we can enhance self-awareness. It's only a 1 hour program, and we usually do it free of cost. If anyone interested, then I'll be more than happy to organize this. Just get in touch with me. If you want more details on this program, then I will share. As I said, this is about how we raise self-awareness in the workforce. And this is our team, and you can get in touch with any of us, and want to know more about invisible leadership, want to know in details what this framework is, each and every component that I talked about, then we'll be more than happy to do that. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Shefali, any other questions I can take? Hi, Shefali.
Yeah, I just lost the connection, Sachin. So I think that was really beautiful, and I was wishing that you could keep continuously speaking, and we all would keep continuously listening to you. So before we proceed ahead, there is one question that is from Dr. Varalakshmi. She asks, what are the underlying factors that one need to focus on finding the importance of culture in terms of ownership in HR perspective?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah.
What are the underlying factors
that one needs to focus on finding the importance of culture of HR in terms of ownership in HR perspective?
Culture, so factors in terms of finding the importance. So when I initially started, perhaps maybe they missed the initial part of this presentation. So when we started with the fact that lack of ownership and responsibility creates many other problems in the company, such as office politics and lower retention, higher attrition. All these problems are getting created. Now, if you feel that they are important to be solved, then those are the factors. That's the answer. If you feel that it is important to solve high attrition rate, low employee engagement, office politics, or gender inequality, or all these topics that we talked about, I've only pointed out 5-6 of them. I'm sure that you can like project many problems related to it. My question, are they important? Do you think that they are important to be solved? If your answer is yes, then I said that they are all the fruits on the tree. So don't solve the fruits, don't fix the fruits, fix the roots, and the roots are the culture of the company or the team. So that's the answer. That is how important it is.
Right. I think Dr. Varalakshmi, you got the answer. And she has written in the chat box. Thank you, Sachinji. Very insightful session. So we are receiving a lot of beautiful messages. And because we have a time constraint, I cannot read out the messages. And let me tell you, Sachin, that a lot of people are watching you live at Facebook also. And we are getting an overwhelming response. The session, the insights which you shared were really, beautiful and learning for us. So here, before we end this session, I would like to invite Govind Singh Negi, who was also enjoying this session a lot. I could see from the comments which he was putting at the chat box. Govind, so over to you. We want to listen from you, few words.
Thank you, Chef Ali. And I think I totally agree that this is one of the sessions which I was looking forward to. And I think, Sachin, you really did a great job of taking us through the concept of invisible leadership. And I think I'll start with the quote you just said, that good companies have good leaders at the top, but great companies have great leaders at every level. And I think that's the message which organizations and people, all the talent people on this call should take away, that leadership is not about title, but the way you act in a particular situation, the way you carry yourself in an organization. So I think that's a great insight. There are a lot of concepts I learned, especially the emotional intelligence aspect you spoke about. I think that's so true that leaders really need to invest their time. But I think a lot of organizations nowadays are putting a lot of efforts on that because they know that if they have to grow their organization, they have to build leaders. And if they have to build leaders, they have to make sure that they are emotionally intelligent. So thanks for sharing that. Love the concept of Ubuntu, of one of the country where people are throwing positivity if somebody is doing wrong, and that's a great example and a great concept. And I also believe a lot in the power of appreciation. So I totally see that how that will help in building the organizations. The concept, I think the 6 core needs model was really amazing. I never heard of it, and this is the first time I'm listening. I think many people on this call might always be wondering that how to build a culture, because building a culture is not a one-day affair, as you correctly said. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. It takes buying from top to down, everybody, and it's a longer process. But I love the framework, the 360-degree framework which you have shared to build the organization. And I'm sure that a lot of people on this call who truly wants their organization to be a great place to work will definitely get leveraged from the session, the framework which you have shared. On a personal note, I love the way you have narrated. It was such a calm, composed, to the point, and I loved it. I loved it, and I think maybe something to learn when from a public speaking perspective as well. So I think it's a great session altogether. Very engaged. Thanks once again for accepting our invitation and sharing your experience and your organization's experience, which you have gathered after working with them after so long. So thanks for sharing to us.